Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at this Apple MacBook Pro that I got off of eBay for $150. Its exact specs are a mystery, so I think we should open up the package and find out. The seller was somewhat vague with the laptop specifications. Thankfully, it looks like it was posted to me with adequate bubble wrap. It also came with a genuine 85-watt MagSafe charger, which is also a bonus. Taking a look at the MacBook, it is a little dented, missing some rubber feet, and definitely is going to need a good cleaning. The battery condition was also unknown to me. It appears to be currently holding a charge, which is a good sign. Overall, I should be able to clean this laptop up pretty well. Now, let's try booting it up. The previous owner was kind enough to do a fresh install. I went through the initial setup process. Now we can finally see what the specs of the laptop are. This is a 2.6 GHz quad-core i7 model, paired with 8 GB of memory. We can see that this is indeed a 2012 model. It also has the original 750 GB mechanical hard disk, which we will definitely be replacing in this video. To my surprise, it actually has a 1 GB Nvidia 650M and a whopping 1,506 battery cycles used. How on earth is this thing still holding a decent charge? I'm gonna have to check out the battery health later in the video. Since all the specifications appear to be original, I doubt it has ever been opened. So, let's open it up. I began by removing the 10 Phillips head screws from the base of the laptop. That is a laptop in need of a serious cleaning. I'd imagine with a battery cycle count so high that it was used heavily nearly every day since it was purchased. With the hard disk, battery, and RAM removed, let's give the inside some much needed attention. While I'm at it, I gave the battery a wipe down. Some of the mounting holes that held the battery in place had broken off, so I glued them back in place. I also wanted to put in an SSD to improve the speed of the laptop. To save money, I put in a $28 Kingston A400 SATA 3 SSD. While this is definitely a low-end SSD, it is going to be a lot faster than the original 5400 RPM hard drive. So, time to put it back together. I'll leave the RAM at 8 GB, as that is more than enough for this system. Next, the SSD can be screwed back into place. I gave the fans a dust out to improve airflow. Lastly, we can slot the battery back in. I'll test the thermal performance of the laptop, and if it needs new thermal paste, we'll be sure to put some in later in the video. The keyboard and casing got a much needed wipe down. You'd be surprised how unsanitary laptops can be. Thankfully, with the help of some methylated spirits, grime and debris comes off easily. With an antibacterial wipe, I gave the screen a gentle cleaning. I used a microfiber cloth to remove any leftover residue. And finally, some lens cleaner was used to remove any smudges. Now, that is one very clean looking laptop. I also cleaned the other areas of the laptop as well. Now, let's try installing an operating system to the new SSD. Holding down the Option key on startup will allow us to select our macOS 10.12 boot USB. I chose this version of Mac because it was the newest version I had on a USB. Yes, I am lazy. It seems like the SSD is detected. After formatting the drive, we can begin the installation of macOS Sierra. After it installed, I tried using this laptop for several days as I waited for some parts to arrive. The CPU effortlessly reached 104.1 degrees Celsius. So, time to redo the thermal paste. And while we're at it, we're going to replace the optical drive with a second SATA hard disk. Once again, I opened the laptop up, removing the RAM and all cables attached to the logic board. If you're ever going to do this, I would definitely recommend following an iFixit tutorial for your specific model. I had a lot of trouble removing the logic board itself. Everything was unplugged and every screw removed, but the board just wouldn't move. Eventually, I worked out that the speaker module under the logic board had melted to the case. While I tried to think of a way to get past that issue, I began removing the optical drive. It didn't actually want to come out, and it turns out someone had actually jammed a price tag into the optical drive. With the DVD drive and price tag removed, I could put the replacement SATA hard disk caddy in its place. Costing just $13 including shipping from eBay, this SATA drive caddy will allow us to add a second hard disk to this MacBook. With some fiddling, the hard disk slotted into place. To save costs, I just used the 750GB hard disk that originally came with this MacBook. To allow the MacBook to sit evenly on a surface and not get scratched up, well, any more scratched up, I bought 4 new rubber feet off of eBay for $5 including shipping. After removing the rest of the old feet, I used methylated spirits to clean off the old glue that held them in place. Sadly, the feet were a little too big to fit into the mounting holes. But with a little help from a dab of glue, I don't think they're going to be falling off again. Sliding some guitar picks between the speaker and the casing, I was able to finally dislodge the logic board. Over time, it had gotten so hot that the cooling pipes had actually melted to the keyboard backlight. Here we can see the speaker that had melted to the casing. After a quick dusting, I removed the cooling plate for both the CPU and GPU. Unsurprisingly, the old thermal paste had hardened into a pasty mess. It's hardly surprising that the CPU reached 104 degrees without much effort. I also removed the old paste from the cooling plate. Methylated spirits was used to clean the copper surfaces. With the lids clean, I applied a small dab of new thermal paste to each die. Once the cooling plate is put back on, the paste will spread evenly in a thin layer over the lid. Now it's time to put it all back together. I cleaned out the case under the optical drive and logic board as well. The new hard disk caddy seems to fit in without any issue. Next, the logic board fits snugly back in place. The fans, along with all the connector cables, were plugged back in. Last of all, I installed the RAM and the battery. This is now a very clean MacBook, both inside and out. With my fingers crossed, I turned on the laptop once again. Luckily, it still worked. It boots very fast with the SSD installed. Somehow the battery with over 1,500 cycles still has 91.9% health and works excellently. That has to be some kind of record. I then formatted the old hard disk, which can now be used as storage when needed. When running the Cinebench R15 CPU test over and over, the highest CPU temperature I could reach was 99.7 degrees, which maintained the turbo boost of 3.4 GHz. This is several degrees cooler. While not a massive difference, it is an improvement nonetheless. So here we have a cheap and somewhat powerful Apple MacBook Pro, with a great selection of ports as well. While not Retina, the 1440x900 display has adequate brightness and still looks great 7 years later. While it is definitely a little bit heavy and bulky compared to modern MacBooks, what is it actually capable of? When it comes to gaming, the Nvidia 650M with its new thermal paste handles Minecraft with ease. Ah man. Team Fortress 2 running at 1440x900 medium graphics settings gets about 30 FPS. CSGO running at 1440x900 low settings gets a very playable 70 to 80 FPS. The Unigine Heaven benchmark on medium settings gets a very respectable 40 to 50 FPS. Photoshop also runs great on this laptop. HD YouTube playback was also smooth and responsive. Once again, I'm truly amazed that this battery has 91.1% health. Overall, this is a cheap, reliable, and somewhat powerful MacBook. And another thing that's excellent is the keyboard. I kind of wish Apple still used this keyboard design instead of the new butterfly ones used on newer MacBooks. While it has many cosmetic flaws due to years and years of hard use, the clean out and new thermal paste means it should keep running for many more years to come. These pre-Retina MacBook Pros are excellent value now and are also very upgradable. If you can find one of these cheap, I would definitely recommend picking one up. Perhaps see if the seller can tell you the battery health, as you might not have as much luck as I did. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this video interesting. And if you liked what you've seen, definitely feel free to leave a like. And if you want to see more, definitely consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next video.